Hey, welcome to another episode of MLM Renegade. Today I've got a really great interview with some people that I've been mentored by in the past, Todd and Leah Getz. Check it out. So here's the million-dollar question. How are network marketers like us, who've tried everything their upline ever suggested to be successful, and yet still struggled, who grew up with technology and aren't stuck in the 20th century, how are we supposed to grow our downlines in our bank accounts and yet still have time for real life? My name is J.R. McKee. Join me as we explore how to use 21st century learning and technology to grow our downlines and build lasting wealth. Simply put, this is MLM done different. Welcome to MLM Renegade. All right, so I had this really cool opportunity to interview Todd and Leah Getz. They are a couple of they're an incredible power couple when it comes to the world of network and affiliate marketing. They've actually created courses around, around some of these 21st century technologies, Twitter and Instagram, and they do a daily YouTube video right now talking about helping people, make additional money and make money online, really being online marketers. And so I was really pleased that I was able to get them and that we were able to sit down and talk a little bit about this, talk a little bit about automation, which is one of the things that they really focus on. You can find links for their courses if you're interested at tlr.mlmrenegade.com. We have a couple of different courses that they have, but again, tlr.mlmrenegade.com. All right. Okay, well, hey, Todd and Leah, I appreciate you joining me today. I've been a big fan of your guys' for more than a year now. In fact, I've got a funny story to tell about that in a minute. But I wanted to just kind of get it from you guys, kind of your backstory, kind of how you guys came into network marketing and affiliate marketing, and kind of how you guys have gone creating your courses and your content.
Well, we were sort of stuck in a lifestyle with Todd's job that we didn't want. Todd was traveling out Sunday afternoons and coming back Thursday evenings or Friday nights. And we had, at the time, a 6-month-old son. And he had been doing that basically his entire life. And we were looking for a way out of that. But where we were living, there was no options of getting anywhere near to what Todd was making traveling in a local position. So we were kind of stuck in this place and we didn't know what we could do to get out of it. And a girlfriend of mine introduced me to some nutritional products that really worked well for me. I really enjoyed them, increased my quality of life, and my background is nursing. And so I knew, like, one was really good for joint pain and different things. And I was like, oh, well, I got so many blue collar friends and family that I'm just going to tell them they need to be on this because it helps them so much. It helps their knees and all this kind of stuff. So, well, I might as well get paid for it, whatever, because I'm going to tell them anyway. And so I had like zero ambition when we were first introduced to this. And Todd really pushed me, and going to live events and with Todd's help, like, into looking at this more as a real opportunity. You want to talk about that book? Or?
Well, yeah. Basically, what happened was that Leah said she wanted to do this thing, and I told her no. And like all good couples, we compromised, and then we bought 2 positions at the top level of $2,000 each. And so,
good couples, you compromise, which means you did what your wife told you to do.
Yeah,
that's how it works in my house too.
Yeah. So we got these 2 positions. So we put like $4,000 into it right up in the front end, and over the course of I forget how long it was, but a month or 2, it had gotten almost nothing back out. Mm-hmm. And I could tell that if things just kept going the way that they were going, it was going to be $4,000 down the drain, and it was we'd never see it again. So I was just kind of listening in the background to what Leah was doing, and I was listening to the training things that her company had put out, and I had listened to some of the things that she was doing, and I just kept thinking to myself, there must be a better way to do this, right? There must be some better way to do this where it doesn't sound so pitchy, where it doesn't sound so, it doesn't have a feel to it, where it feels more natural, where you're actually reaching people that want the products, where you don't feel like you're trying to chase people all the time. And so I started looking around on the internet, looking for blog articles or anything that could help, YouTube videos. I bought some books. And the two books that really helped to get me into this was Go Pro by Eric Worre and then Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. And those two books, you know, when I read through them before I gave them to Leah, those are what really convinced me that, wow, this is something that really could be like a real legitimate business that could give us everything that we wanted in our lives. And so that's what convinced me to join Leah in doing what she was doing with network marketing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then just led us down a path of continual growth and really realizing what we had our hands on, and then working really hard, getting nowhere for like a year, and then moving our business online and getting plugged in with attraction marketing. And that's really where things started to change for us.
That's awesome. So in the past, you know, you guys have been actively working on this then, including that year of zero growth for how long now?
Since 2014.
15.
Oh, 15,
No.
yeah.
No, yeah, you're right, 14.
Yeah, so it's about June 2014.
So coming on 5 years now.
Yeah.
And how long ago were you able to quit your full-time job, Todd?
No, wasn't that back in 2017? March of 2017.
Okay, so coming on 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So many of us strive for that, you know, that freedom and that ability. And as I was just before we started, I was saying you guys just moved to Florida for the sunshine, which is awesome. There's 4 inches of snow outside my house today in Salt Lake City. So it is, I miss a little bit of that, but I also love to ski. So I couldn't not have the mountains next to me. But, so in the past year, I guess, where have you guys seen the most growth in your business?
I think the one thing that we learned along the way and from others and seeing people's journeys is that not to ever rely on one income source, especially when you have a family that you're supporting, because that's just not safe, because companies shut down, things change and everything. And so we've really diversified our business into affiliate marketing and our own personal products. And so this last year was a massive year for us when it came to our personal product sales, our offerings, and helping people learn exactly what we did for success and teaching them the strategies and the leverage and everything so that they could use it in their business. Yeah,
that's and that's how I found you guys. And because I originally grabbed your guys' Instagram course. In fact, it was right about a year ago at this time that I got it. And it was funny. I remember because my youngest son is 9 and he's in a travel baseball squad. So we do baseball about 10 months out of the year, basically. It's like we already had a tournament. It's full born. And but I was sitting at our indoor practice facility, which is basically a warehouse with turf thrown down on the ground. Like, it's what it is. But Leah called me because I had signed up, and that was part of their follow-up process. And I get this phone number. I'm like, who's calling me from Minnesota? Which now I know is just where you were from. But anyway, we had this cool conversation just talking about some of the things that were going on. And I was, at the time, I was really concerned financially. I'd gone through job loss and some other things. And so spending, spending that money was a little scary for me, but being able to go and spend the time that I needed to actually go through that program. And then later I found also your Instagram course and have done a lot of work with that as well. And those two pillars have really become important for what I'm doing in my business, and what I think a lot of people who hopefully are listening are trying to figure out. And so, one, I'm curious how, in general, how have those courses been received? I mean, you guys have, is it hundreds of users now or thousands of users? And then what, thousands? That's awesome. And I can't recommend it enough. In fact, I'll make sure that everybody gets a link for it. But really, I guess, when was it Twitter that you guys found first, or how did that evolution come about?
Well, as far as the strategies that we implemented in our business, Twitter or Instagram was actually the first one that we implemented. Twitter came later on. But in terms of which course we created first, Twitter was the first course that we created, and then Instagram was the second one.
Went in reverse order. Okay. Why was Twitter first?
Because at the time, that's where most of our traffic and everything else was coming from. It was just the easier course to create. Twitter, is something that we can put on just 100% autopilot. With Instagram, there's just so many more ways to reach your audience with the stories and the highlights, and you can do contests and takeovers.
Yeah, it's a more complex platform.
Yeah, there's a lot more to do on it, and there's more manual work on it. On your end, and it's good if you're in network marketing because the engagement level is much higher.
Yeah.
But it was just going to take more work to put that course together, and so Twitter was much easier to put together because it's pretty simple once you get it up and running, and just automate the whole thing.
And we had done some free Twitter trainings on some big webinars, and kind of were known by a lot of people as Twitter people. And so that also made it an easier decision.
Which is funny because I remember hearing you say you both hate Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like not big fans, which is funny. Like I use Twitter for a lot of my, especially sports news. I grew up in the Seattle area and I live in Utah. So my ability to get the appropriate Seahawks and Mariners information is incredibly limited here. Twitter fills that void, but I have to be careful because I get on there and the political talk drives me insane. I just have to shut it off. And I've gone on Twitter fasts of multiple months where I just delete the app and forget about it for a while because I don't need that kind of idiocy in my life. So,
yes.
So you guys have these courses, and what's the next big course that you're working on?
That's our continuity program, probably.
Yeah, we don't really have anything in mind we got a couple ideas of what we might do, but for right now we don't have anything that we're actively working on.
Okay.
We do have an ongoing subscription membership where every month we're putting out kind of like a mini course.
Huh.
So the first month we did it was January,
Mm-hmm.
End of January. We put out the first lesson there, and it was all about branding. Last month, we put out another one that was all about creating your email marketing system. This next month, we're going to, and actually, I gotta start creating this. But this next one is going to be about how to create your funnels, and throughout this program, like with the email marketing lesson, I let people copy a bunch of our email marketing sequences and things like that, so that when they're setting up their own email marketing system, they can just basically click a link to copy our automations and our sequences into their autoresponders. And the same thing with the funnel building portion that we're coming up with. We'll have links for people to click on where they can just copy our funnels, and then just tweak them a little bit so that they're personalized to their own for their own uses and for their own companies and everything else. And then the month after that, I forget exactly what we have. We might do something with video marketing or something, but every month there'll be a new thing. And then we also do a live Q&A once a month as well to go over if anybody has any questions about what we just over that month's lesson.
Yeah. And really the idea with it is because we're affiliated with My Lead System Pro and some other programs that teach. They give a great teaching, but for some people it's just too overwhelming sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so being able to just, here's one thing to focus on, from the very beginning, walking them through the process so that they're not overwhelmed and they only have one thing to focus on this month. And they're adding, and they're building slowly and getting their business where it needs to be.
Yep. And then we have the Q&A sessions where they're able to ask questions and get feedback and, basically have all the questions answered about the training as well. So,
yeah. Overwhelm is always an issue, I think, just because it's, I had actually joined up with My Lead System Pro, MLSP, for a little while, and I'm not currently doing that, and I got a lot of overwhelm, and some of the things that were there were just, I kind of had to take a step back, and I'm like, okay, I got some good ideas, and I got some bits and pieces there that are going to be helpful for me, and and then kind of reapproach it in other ways. And I love what you're talking about, your funnels. I'll definitely have to get a link for your for that program, because that's of interest to me, definitely. But with the funnels, especially with some of the software out there now, I mean, it becomes so simple to copy those funnels, or to assume them, I guess, and then tweak them for your own needs, that it takes a lot of the brain work out of it. I mean, you spend so much time. I mean, I can be pretty creative. I talk a lot. My day job, I sell. I'm actually in medical device sales now. And so it's like, that's what I do. But ask me to write sales copy or a sales letter, forget it. Like my brain glosses over, like it doesn't happen. So, understanding that weakness that I have, those share funnels and other things, and some of those, automated scripts and some of the other pieces that are out there have just been invaluable for me. Now, I'm curious, I got a couple, I know that you guys talk about creating lead magnets in some of your courses, and that's a big and important thing to be able to capture. I'm curious, just as maybe even, I don't know if it's emotional or just, but what's your favorite lead magnet that you guys have actually created? Maybe the one that you're the most proud of, or just one that you're, that you like the best? Because I've created some, I look at them, I'm like, that's just garbage. Like, why did I do that? So obviously I don't talk about them anymore, but there's plenty of others that I still do talk about, and I'm pleased with. So
I think it's our workshop.
The 5-day workshop.
Yeah, a few summers ago, I essentially locked myself away and called leads for like 20 days, 16 to 18 hours a day, because we were really pushing to hit a new rank and a new goal in our business. And it worked, which was awesome. And I have a big, impressive story to tell, but it sucked. And I don't want to do that ever again. And I came out of that saying, I'm not calling leads anymore. I'm not. And because up to that, our process was generate the lead. I called the leads. We did email marketing as well, but I would call all of the leads. I'd see what they got going on, and then I'd offer them something that could help them, whether it was our network marketing opportunity, some of our affiliate offers, whatever it was, to help them out. And it worked, and we could do a lot in sales, but I had no life. It was miserable. We've got 2 young kids, and there's no way that that's a sustainable model for us. And so came out of that, saw what people were doing with Facebook challenges and how they were getting more automated signups. And we really we talked to some folks who were having some success with it, and we tweaked it and made it our own. And now we just get automated signups into My Lead System Pro, our affiliate program, simply by giving people great content. And I mean, there's a big thread going on in the group right now on how awesome the content is. Like we're spoon feeding them little chunks of really helpful information, leveraging ManyChat, Facebook Messenger bots, and a Facebook group, and then inviting them to take the next step with us into our affiliate program, attraction marketing system. And so that is, people have had really good results going through that program, which is awesome. People love the content, and it has also given us, me in particular, like my life back.
Yeah.
So it's been a win across the board for everybody. So I'd definitely say that one.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and I definitely have seen, I mean, obviously I know I follow you guys on Instagram, and seeing pictures of playing at the beach in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day. I'm just like, oh man, so that's what we're all going for here, right? That's the point. So, but it's good to hear that, that you suffered through, 15-hour days on the telephone as well, because I think we've all tried something to that effect in the past. So, I recently went through with ClickFunnels. I went through their 30-day challenge, and basically it's the one funnel away challenge, they call it. But basically it's 30 days, and it's every day you sit down and do some work. And with it, they have a book that was like, they call it the 30 Days book, where they have like these 30 different entrepreneurs who basically were asked, if everything was taken away from you and you had a month to do it again, what do you do? Like, what's your big stick that you use? And so kind of a thought question for you guys, but I'd love to hear how you guys approach that. You lost everything. How do you rebuild it, at least to some semblance, in a month?
Webinars.
Yeah.
Yeah, learning how to do webinars really good and then put it on automation has been the biggest increase to our income, period. I mean, it's just hands down. And you can implement it anywhere. It's not just to sell your own products. Like we basically, in our, like, for example, like our 5-day challenge that we just talked about, it's basically 5 days of just spoon feeding content and just enough so that people are getting some success in their business. And then on the 5th day, after the little bit of content, we basically do a mini webinar in order to pitch MLSP. And that was really the key into making that challenge successful, was learning basically the webinar script and the webinar formula, in order to get those conversions into, to invite people to take the next step. The same thing with anything else that we do, like another program that we promote, we basically do the same thing. They have their own, and the thing is, MLSP has their own webinars, right? They have their own videos. But whenever you're promoting the exact same thing as thousands of other people, that it becomes really hard to market that, because as soon as somebody clicks onto the landing page and they see that it's the exact same landing page that thousands of other people have promoted and that they've already seen before, well, that obviously is going to hurt your opt-in rate.
Sure.
As soon as they click on that, and even after they opt in, maybe you put a custom landing page in front and it's the same video that everybody else is promoting. Well, if they see the same video, it's already the same information they've seen before, they've already said no before, well, that's going to hurt your conversion rate. So being able to personalize those things, the landing page and the actual webinar, that's what really increases our conversion rates. And that's why we get, basically so many more leads and sales and signups than a lot of other people, is because we've been able to take those and personalize them, put our faces on it, build our brand with it rather than build someone else's brand, right? And so, it's even much more congruent. So when people visit a blog post, or they see one of our videos and it's us there, and then they click on the link, and then on the landing page, again, it's us there, and then they opt in, and then on the webinar, right, or on the video that they see on the other end, again, it's us. And so that, again, not only is it more congruent, people aren't getting, they don't see Todd and Leah Ray, then suddenly, oh, it's the MLSP guys, or oh, it's someone else, right? They see us all the way through the funnel process, and also that also builds that know, like, and trust factor throughout the whole thing. And it builds that trust and rapport, which is really important in, at the very end of it, in convincing people to take out their credit card and actually give you money, right?
Yeah.
Is that they know, like, and trust you. Because, I mean, imagine if they'd seen Todd and Leah Ray the whole way through, and then on the video where you're finally asking for the sale, they see someone completely brand new, right?
Yep.
That's going to hurt conversion rates, right? Because, yep, exactly. So. No,
that's fantastic. So I'm curious, and maybe for some of my own learning as well, was there some sort of course or information, or how did you learn to do the webinar? What was the education like in that piece? Because admittedly, that's a piece that scares the ever living crap out of me. I talk for a living, and yet that part scares me. And I know it's one of those things that I need to get past. The obstacle is the way is kind of what I think about there. But I also would sure like to have a crutch to lean on through it.
We used to do them all live, and that was really important part of the process for us to go through, was to learn how to do it live first. But once we really figured out exactly what we wanted to say, we basically, at this last time that we did it, just scripted out everything that we wanted to say, and then we pre-recorded the entire thing. And then I went through it and just meticulously, I went through the audio file, took out all the lip smacks and all the ahs and the ums and the rights, all those little verbal tics that we do that I find so annoying when I'm listening to myself. Took all those out, made sure that, we got all the best cuts of everything, synced it up and it took a long time to put it together, but synced up everything to the PowerPoint show, and just put it on an auto webinar. And that's converting really well for us, and it converts pretty much just as well as a live webinar right now. And
and to get started, because I'm talking about a crutch or
Yeah. And then as far as like a course, this was a skill that we knew we really needed to master. So it wasn't just one course. The first course we actually bought was Webinar Sales Magic by Steve Jaffe, which is an excellent course. We learned a lot from it. We did our first webinar just from that course, and we made a sale on our first webinar. And so that started the addiction. But then we also bought, what was the one from Kate and Andrew McShay? I forget what it was called, but we bought one from Kate and Andrew McShay. We got one from Mark Harbert, and then we also hired Mark Harbert as a coach for a year to teach us and to really refine our webinar process. And that's what really helped us to, so it was basically 3 courses and then a year of coaching to be able to get to the point where we are right now, where it's, we're basically, it's one of the courses we're considering putting together now is a webinar course, and specifically how to take a webinar and put it on automation.
Yeah, well, and automation has really been your hallmark in all of your courses, is how to set that up to give you your life back. I just finished reading the 4-Hour Work Week, and that's all about being able to remove yourself from your business so that you can go live and do whatever you want to do. So that's huge. And Mark Harbert, actually, I was on one of your guys' webinars with the chatbot automation stuff, and saw him, and so I know he's got a lot of great info there as well. Well, guys, I've taken up as much of your time as I promised I would. So I appreciate you guys coming on with me, and I will have I'll make sure that we get links out there for your guys' courses, so that we can share those and hopefully drive you guys some more registrants, but at the same time also help out everybody who's wanting to understand better Twitter and Facebook, and Instagram automation, and to find your groups. And you guys are on Facebook as Todd and Leah Ray Getz, correct?
Just Todd and Leah Ray.
Just Todd and Leah Ray. That's right. Okay, so Todd and Leah Ray, and I'll. Anyway, you guys, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on with me today, and look forward to talking to you soon.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure being here.
Awesome. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for listening, and please remember to subscribe. And if you loved us, leave us an awesome review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you consume your podcasts. Now, if you'd like some free training for your team on how your recruiting efforts can be bettered and brought into the 21st century, go to podcast.mlmrenegade.com and get your copy of the Renegade Recruiting Kickstarter.